This is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make the Ancient City bracelet. This bracelet features the Kheops Puca 2-hole triangle beads and the Czech glass flat 2-hole triangle beads as well. So that's just sort of what has constructed this bracelet, and I'm also going to be using some 11/0 Toho seed beads, as well as you're going to need some 5mm 20 gauge jump rings and a nice spring clasp as well. So I just want to kind of do a little overview of what the Kheops Puca beads are. And as you can see here, I have some beautiful colors. I just kind of wanted to have those here on the table just to sort of show you. But here's one of the colors, and this one will show you how the holes are drilled. So you'll get 2 holes in the bottom there, and then those 2 holes come out each side of the top of that Kheops. So I'll just show you on my needle here. So you have one side that comes up through this side, and the other side comes up through this side. So they're actually really kind of neat, and a lot of the 2 holes align with many of the other Checkmates and Czech glass 2-hole beads, so you can really use them in conjunction with the other ones. So you can make this bracelet with any of these colors, and I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. So let's go ahead and get started. Now to do this, I'm going to be using size 0.006 in the smoke gray FireLine. I have a couple of pairs of pliers to help me out with those jump rings, and then I also have my trusty thread zap. So I've already taken my size 12 beading needle and added on a piece of thread. If you need to add more, you can just tie it off and do so. We have a video showing you how to do that. But about 2 wingspans is enough to complete the entire bracelet if you want to do it all in one pass. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working in these little units here, and you've noticed that I chose to match the gold with the blue and then the blue with the gold. Depending on the colors you've chosen, you could do it all in one color or what have you. But for this, I'm just going to repeat this exact color pattern. So again, I have my 2 colors of Kheops, I have my 2 colors of the 2-hole Czech glass beads, the triangles, I have 11/0 Tohos, again, 520 jump rings, and a spring ring clasp. So to start with this first unit, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up one of my 11/0 Toho seed beads and slide it just about until I have a good tail of about 8 inches or so. So I've slid it down, and now I'm just going to take my needle and go right back through it to create a nice little stopper bead for the end piece for myself. Now I'll be removing this so it doesn't really matter where it is on your tail. Okay, so to begin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me set this up for you as well. Sorry. So I have 4 of the Kheops, and then I'm going to be using 8 of the triangles per each unit. So to start, I'm going to go down through the side hole, because on the bottom here I want to have the 2 holes. So I'm going to start here, and now I'm going to pick up this tail piece here, which is going to be 5 of the seed beads. And now I'm just going to go back up through that second hole. There we go, and pull tight. So now I'm going to go ahead and pick up the triangle beads. I'm going to pick up 1 triangle, 1 seed bead, and 1 triangle. And I'm going to go ahead and slide those down. And you're going to want to pick up the hole that will make sure that those little guys flip inward. So if you can see, I'm on the outside hole of these triangle beads. So now I'm going to pick up another Kheops, and again going down through the side hole. And I'm just going to come right back up. Making sure to make that so it's nice and snug there. And just repeating by picking up 1 2-hole triangle, 1 seed bead, and another 2-hole triangle. Sliding that down. And again, just repeating the process. So picking up one of the Kheops on the sides, going down, going up through the other hole there, repeating again, one triangle, one seed, and one triangle. Slide that down. And to pick up the last Kheops, again, going through that same side hole there, sliding it all the way down. Coming up through. And now, let me try to flip this around on this first one here. There we go. I'm going to be picking up again one triangle, one seed bead, and one triangle bead. So now at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to remove your stopper bead, and you could just sort of just pull that off. There you go. And take your two ends, and you're just going to tie an overhand knot. And for security, I'm just going to double knot that. There we go. So now you can kind of see how our unit has come together. Again, just making sure that's nice and taut. Get all these threads out of my way. So now when you put it down, you can see that all the triangles kind of fall inward, and you can see the start of that unit. Okay? So we have our thread coming out, our main thread, our working thread, coming out here. So we're just going to go down through that Kheops bead and around those 5 seed beads. And back down through the other side of the Kheops there. So I'm coming on the inside. Get my tail out of the way there. Okay. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take your needle and you're going to go through that first hole on the triangle bead, that first seed bead, and that second triangle bead right there. And now what you're going to do is you're going to create a thread bridge across this triangle bead. Go back through and go back through both triangle beads. And now you're going to work your way around clockwise by picking up only that second hole of each triangle bead, and you'll see how they'll start to sort of all fall in towards the center and come together. And go through the next two. And through the next two. And you'll need to connect these ones, so you'll go back through those first two there. And you have your first unit completed. Now we need to work the thread over so that we're coming out of this Kheops bead right here, this one on the end. So go ahead and keep working it around through the 2-hole triangles. And you're actually going to work it all the way so it's almost 2 full revolutions, but you're going to go only as far as this triangle right here on the side. Because what we can do now is we're going to create a thread bridge and go down through that second hole of the triangle. And you might not be able to get it through the Kheops at the same time. Oops. That one wants to come too. So you have the thread bridge there, and now you're going to take your needle and just go down through that Kheops bead. Now your first unit is officially completed, and you should have your thread coming out of that bottom hole of the Kheops there. All right, so now we're ready to begin the second unit, and I've already pulled 4 of the blue Kheops and 8 of the gold 2-hole triangles. So what we're going to do is you'll see we're coming out here at this second hole there. So what I want to do is I want to match up that hole. So I'm going to pick up that Kheops from one of the bottom beads, or I'm sorry, from one of the bottom 2 holes, so that those 4 holes sort of match up nicely, just like so. And now we're just going to pick up the other units in the same way. So you're going to pick up 1 triangle, 1 seed bead, and 1 triangle bead. Go ahead and slide all that down. And now you're going to go through the Kheops and go through that side hole there so that you can come up through the bottom side hole. And again, just making sure that'll be nice and tight, making sure those triangles are coming inwards. Pick up 1 triangle, 1 seed bead, and 1 triangle bead. Sliding that down. Picking up 1 of the Kheops through the side. And if this is your second unit, what you're going to do is you're just going to go ahead and go straight up through that side hole just as you would. But if this is your final unit, what you're going to do now is you're going to pick up 5 of the Toho seed beads to create the other loop of that clasp, and you're just going to go back through here. And just making sure that's nice and tight there. So now you're just going to continue by picking up another triangle bead, another seed bead, and another triangle bead, going down through the side hole of that Kheops and back up through. Again, just kind of making sure that's all tight. And picking up our final 2 triangles, 1 seed bead and 1 triangle bead. And now you're going to go through that side hole in the Kheops, and you're going to go through that second hole in the gold Kheops. So you're sort of connecting the 2 units together. And just go ahead and pull that down. And let's just check to make sure that our triangles are all coming inwards so we don't have any trouble. So see how that will all come together nicely right there? So now what we have to do is we have to turn around our threads so we can get back and connect all of our gold triangles together. So to do that, you're just going to go up through this first hole in this first triangle here. And you're just going to create a little thread bridge along the back side, and you're going to go back through that second hole right there. And it might be a little tricky just to sort of get your needle in there. Mine's actually going to just come out the back, but it's coming out that second hole in that triangle bead. And now you're just going to go through along the back there. And now just go through that second triangle there. Sometimes you'll just have to keep flipping your work over just a little bit just to get the right angle on getting your thread through, because you don't want to crack your needle or your thread or the glass beads that you're working with. So now you're just going to come down through and you're going to go straight through that hole on that Kheops bead. And what you're going to do is the same thing that you did on that first unit. You're just going to go through the first triangle, that seed bead, and that next triangle right there. Again, just got to get the right angle on it. There we go. All right. And now we're just going to create that thread bridge so we can go through those second holes on the gold triangles and connect them all together. And now, since this is our last unit, we can just weave in that thread and tie it off. So I'm gonna go through here and just make sure that I can secure that last little portion there where I'm gonna do the clasp. So I'm just going to try to get my thread back there. And I definitely recommend going around this loop at least twice, just to make sure, because this is where all that tension is going to be holding your bracelet together. So now, once I go through that last portion there, all I'm going to do is I'm basically going to do what's called a surgeon's knot. So I'm just going to take my thread, not go through any beads, but just go underneath that thread bridge. See if I can show you. So my needle is caught in that thread bridge, and I'm just going to pull down, and in this loop here I'm just going to take my needle and go back through it, and that's going to tie a knot. And all I need to do now is just weave my thread through the next couple of beads so that I can tie it off. And this is exactly the same step that you'll do on the other side here to tie in this tail. So now you just take your thread zap, warm it up, and zap off your thread. So to do the final part of this, and I'll just show you really quick on the one I already did, I added 2 jump rings to this side and my spring ring clasp, and then I added a trail of jump rings here so that it could be adjustable. But if you're just making it for yourself and you only want to add 1 or 2 jump rings here because you know it'll fit and you don't want that tail, feel free to do so. But very simply, just take one of your jump rings, and we're just going to open that up, slip it on to our side of the clasp there. Make sure it's closed nice and tight. Pick up another jump ring. Just open that up by simply twisting it, and we can attach our clasp and attach it to our jump ring right there. So that's it. So that's how you sort of finish the clasp to your liking, and you can make it whichever size you'd like. I hope you enjoyed this video. We have more colors of the Kheops Puca beads and plenty more colors of the Czech glass 2-hole triangle beads for you to make this design your very own. You can find all of these supplies and more at Beadaholique.com.